And here we are in Game 3 of Sen vs. Ret in the PokerStrategy.com round of 8. Right now, I'm not so sure who I'm favoring. I mean, really, before this match, whoopsie daisies, I accidentally set the replay to times 2. All right. Calming things down. I'm so excited to see what happens. Before the series, Chill and I were tempted to cast the flipping of 5 coins in a row to see what the outcome would be, because really this match is incredibly close. However, we couldn't find enough change because we're all poor here. We're all college students, so it's a good thing that we decided to go back and actually do StarCraft, because man, this game is so awesome. And look, both players scouting each other in the correct direction right away.
Right, and that's a key. I mean, if you're looking to get into a big mid game, this is a key fact that needs to happen. Both players scouting each other, they can see exactly what they're doing, and they can watch the eggs. If he makes drones, I can make drones, and that's the kind of situation that sets us up for these epic games where we're getting, +2 Mutalisk battling about. And I really, thus far we've seen, one Mutalisk? I really want to see these guys get Mutalisk out. Ret has very impressive Mutalisk micro, and I'm sure, although I haven't seen it firsthand, I'm very confident that Sen also has Mutalisk micro. So here comes the two Overlords passing each other at blinding speeds, now heading towards the main of each other.
Yeah, there's the good old Overlord nuzzles. I mean, the Overlords are probably the most friendly unit in StarCraft. They just tend to cuddle as they pass by one another, and then they go ahead and return to their jobs as spies into the enemy base. And, I just wanted to briefly touch on what you were saying earlier, that we haven't seen a Mutalisk yet. Really, there's been like one right before Good Game. And just for any of the newer viewers, because I know the TSL is getting increasingly popular. Even Blizzard's reporting about the TSL on their Twitter feed. The Zerg vs. Zerg is the matchup that is the inverted pendulum. It's super, super intense. And the Mutalisks end up being the staple unit. They have great maneuverability, can pick off drones, pick off Scourge, very fast, so you can defend a lot of expansions. So players use Zerglings until those Mutalisks are up. And what's funny is that there's a lot of cheesy stuff that can happen at the start where players just kill each other with Zerglings and sort of manipulate that psychology as much as they can. So up to this point, we haven't really seen any mutas. But I mean, right now, if we look at Ret's base, look at this. Tons of drones being made. Look, making even another drone. That 13th drone is very bold by Ret, because he knows exactly what's up. And if we go back into Sen's main, nothing but drones being made. We have absolutely no Zerglings being built right now, which means might be seeing some Mutalisk soon.
Right, if you're new to StarCraft, if they hadn't put their Overlords directly into each other's bases right at the start, you'd see them saving up a lot of larvae. So as soon as this spawning pool finished, they would each make 6 Zerglings, just so you can defend a 9 pool, or you can defend an overpool coming in. You don't want to lose to that right off. But if I can see what my opponent's making, of course I'm not going to make that many attacking units unless I feel he's erring too much on the side of defense. Now we see a few Zerglings going up for each player. Ret making an Overlord on 16. That's a little bit non-standard in ZVZ, and that tells me that he really wants to take it to a later game, whereas I'm waiting for Sen. He's up to 17 now, making Zerglings, so a little bit different here. Ret has to be a little careful with these initial Zerglings, that he doesn't get a little too aggressive here, or he's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, one thing I also really like both players doing, not having too many drones at the natural expansion. Often in this matchup, or excuse me, in the other matchups, like Zerg vs. Terran, Zerg vs. Protoss, you'll just transfer 3 or 4 drones right when the hatchery finishes, so that way you can get a better economy. However, in this matchup, again, it's that inverted pendulum style. Things die so quickly. If there are too many drones at your expansion, your opponent will just run Zerglings in and micro them around and either kill the drone or stop it from mining for long enough that it wasn't worth the while to move it there in the first place. So I like the fact that both players have a good, solid, deep understanding at this point.
We saw Ret moved out with his first initial 4 Zerglings, and he put those up at the north. The point of that was, of course, if Sen moves out with all these Zergling forces, those 4 Zerglings are going to run into the main of Sen and try to kill drones. But we see he pulled 2 back. I'm a little surprised by that. Maybe he thought he didn't have enough to defend the initial Zergling attack of Sen, and he's actually putting up a sunken colony, which is a little strange. Maybe he's trying to focus on drones. Yeah, now switching to drone production a little bit. And moving in with his Zerglings. I'm not sure about this.
I'm into it. I don't mind it so much. I mean, I like the fact that he moved out and then pulled back with some Zerglings. because from Sen's point of view, it looks like Ret moved out and then pulled back, and Sen's going to not think too much about those Zerglings that are potentially hidden somewhere for a counterattack. It's a nice little move in order to sort of force your counterattacks to have a little bit more effectiveness. And I also like this move of Ret moving forward and pulling back again. It's just it's like a feint, you know. He moves forward, freaks Sen out. Sen's going to make too many Zerglings, and in the meantime, we look at Ret. He's just making drones. He's getting his gas up much earlier than Sen, and Sen might be feeling a little bit uncomfortable right now. And look at this. Zerglings being made out of all of Sen's larvae right now. It looks like Sen might be going for a huge Ling bust before these Mutalisks pop out for Ret.
Right, and Sen on the ball, he leaves behind 2 Zerglings, so when the counter of Ret comes in, he can easily defend it. A lot of Zerglings moving in. Looks like Ret doesn't have enough Zerglings, but I think his Mutas may be out in time. Here we go, Sen moving in, getting a nice arc around Ret. Ret a little bit out of positions, drones come off late. He runs up the ramp, that's what he needs to do. He needs to move up a little more to isolate those Zerglings, but he's going to lose his Sunken Colony here. He's in danger of being busted. Muta's out now, but without backup, they're really going to take these Zerglings out very slowly. Zerglings moving to the main, focusing on the drones. Ret needs to be careful and run those drones around, screw up the AI. He's definitely going to lose his natural hatchery, and he's in a lot of trouble here, as even if Sen doesn't try to finish with Zerglings, he's going to be in trouble to the Mutalisk counter. Never mind, he's not even going to make it that far. Going to lose all his drones here, and just did not make enough defense yet again. This is a repeat of game 1 for Ret.
Yeah, and look, Ret is only making Scourge right now. He knows that he has no drones, no economy. The only way he can hope to win is by exerting his air dominance. Hopefully, again, we get to see his patented 1 extractor victory. But right now, look, there are so many Zerglings for Sen, and this, a lot of times, can be a real shocker for a Zerg player. I mean, if you're in Sen's position, you're pretty much thinking, yeah, you know, I'm making a Sunken Colony, I have my drones. Oh, look at that beautiful Mutalisk micro by Ret trying to pick things off. But unfortunately, it looks like Ret is going to lose the hatchery in his main. I don't know if he can actually have enough units to defend this. He's pulling 1 Mutalisk back, and here goes Ret. Looks like he's going to try to do everything he can to kill off all these drones here. Maybe Ret, maybe, can win this game.
You know, it's not impossible. There's only 2 Mutalisks out, and he's got the Scourge set up to hit the Muta right when it comes out. If he puts 1 Scourge to each Muta, he could do it. A Scourge do just enough to bring Mutas down to 10 HP. Sen trying to show off his patrol micro here, kills those 2 Scourge fairly easily. Ret still trying to pick off reinforcements of Sen, but now I'm not sure where he's going now, just trying to kill all the drones, but really at this point it's not going to be enough. Here comes the battle. I believe Sen has enough that he should be able to clean this up and finish off Ret.
Oh, and here comes 2 Scourgeon, and yes, just too many Mutalisks, and it looks like Sen wins the game with just 6 drones, and Ret ending the game with just 1 extractor, but it was not quite enough. And, you know, that's a real shocker when you're in Ret's position. You're pretty convinced that the game's going the way you want it to. You move forward and back, you force your opponent to make more Zerglings than he wanted to, when, as it turns out, that's what he wanted to do all along. And that's what you see really strong, very experienced Zerg players do. They know when their opponent's getting a little bit too greedy, they know how to maximize use of those Zerglings that it seems like they were forced to make.
Right, and a lot of people mention timing attacks, maybe in TVP, TVZ. We don't talk much about timing attacks in ZVZ, but that what we just saw there is the definitive timing attack. Because there's this timing where you start to save up larva right when you feel comfortable and your Spire is about to finish, because you think, well, I want more Mutas than him, so you save up these larvae, and Mutalisks take a long time to make. So your opponent, meanwhile, has made all Zerglings. He has a dominant army for maybe just a handful of seconds, but it's enough for him to run in, punish your Zergling army, and then you have to use your Mutas to defend. You lose a lot of drones and possibly lose the game, as we saw there.
And, you know, if I had to say how Ret could have won that game, I think when he saw that first stream of Zerglings run in, Ret should have pulled all his Zerglings up his ramp and then used drones to glitch in the way of the Sunken Colony and pull very, very far back. Because, really, if your opponent is committing that much to a Zergling attack early on, I mean, you're just trying to stay alive until you get Mutalisks at that point. Sometimes your hatch will fall to like 200-300 hit points. You'll lose the sunk, maybe lose some drones, but you get that air advantage that's going to be huge. And then you have your ramp solid, and there's no way that you can really fall too far behind after that. But again, that's one of those instances of Ret feeling very comfortable after game 2 and putting his Zerglings much farther forward than they should have been because he thought he was in control of that match when really Sen was the one playing the game all along.
Right, and his drone pull was actually very late and came in the wrong direction. I believe he pulled it to Sen's base as opposed to his own main, which pulled them kind of outside around the hatchery. And if you get drones together with Zerglings, it's like the ultimate pairing. It's like
Yeah.
you and a gun against another person, like gunless. It's just ridiculous. Like you can't micro around that because the drones are glitching everything up. You're losing so many Zerglings trying to get in position. I felt like if you just gave up some economy and pulled them a little preemptively, got those Zerglings in position, as you said, he could have been fine, and then he would have had the superior economy because he made more drones than Sen. But he didn't do it. Let's hope that doesn't happen again because he's had 2 examples of it happening here. We're going to be moving on now to the other 4-player map. This is going to be Neo Tornado.
Yeah, I'm really liking this map. I mean, we're not going to do too much analysis of it, because Chill and I are excitedly blabbering away and delaying the action, but for the most part, think of it the same way as Fighting Spirit. For starting positions, a lot of mind games going on. We see a lot of 9 pools, as well as a lot of 12 hatches at expansion. I'm interested to see how both these players are going to open.
Right, I don't think we need to say anything more than that. There's a lot of pressure on the line. Ret's won $500, as has Sen. But don't take that as a spoiler. I don't know what happens, okay? Whoever wins this match, should it be Sen, he's going to be up $1,000. So this is a lot of pressure on Ret now. I mean, this is a $500 game for him. Let's see what he can get done in Game 4.